and I hope it is visible.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Today we are going to consider the out-of-box workflows and a little about myself. My name is Ruchit Patel, and I have over 10 years of experience in the networking domain. I am a little over a year with AppUX's customer success team as a design architect, and also have been exposed to PKI in addition to my networking background for the last 5 to 6 years. So that's a little about myself. And now let's go into the agenda that is there for today. What we are going to consider today is the current scenario where the TLS life cycle span is getting shorter and shorter. And that is one trend that we are observing. So we'll touch base on that. We are going to see how automation becomes a necessity, and we are going to explore on the workflows, the automation workflows. We are going to take some illustrations on that. Also, we are going to consider the alerts and notifications, automated enrollment, renewal. So how does that fit into the overarching CLM life, the certificate lifecycle, and also the incident automation as a part of auditing. So that's what the avenues that we intend to explore today. So in this day and age, the certificate life cycles, as most of you might be aware, it has become significantly shorter. And the Google's proposal in 2023, as it came about to bring the certificate's validity to 90 days. And even Apple has proposed to even reduce it by 47 days. So that is where we stand today, and it's just a matter of when, not if. So that's where we need to gear ourselves to accommodate this kind of a change. And the shorter validity of certificates would encourage automation because it becomes a necessity rather than a want. Because the certificate that was being renewed once a year, with let's say 90 days, we will be required to do it 4 times a year, and adding to the complexity of having more volume, that is more number of certificate. One can but imagine how much of manual workload is required in order to tackle this kind of change that is coming around. So therefore, automation, in our opinion, it becomes a necessity, which was a want in times past. So just to show you how the trend has been, the trend, as you see, from 2012 to 2025, where we are, just a little over a decade. And you see from 60 months to just 3 months, it has been a significant decline. And also we have seen outages in the news that many because of certificates expiring, how the business are directly getting impacted. We have heard about airlines losing their business revenue because the main website had lost the certificate had expired. So that's the kind of a scenarios that we see day to day in the news on the PKI. So now how AppUX is going to help you. So AppUX, in this particular context, we are going to focus on the automation, but just to even give you a bigger context, with AppUX, you can even encompass all the visibility, meaning that all the PKI infrastructure, all the certificates that are issued by a certificate authority, where exactly are they provisioned, all of those can be categorized into visibility. That means one can know where what all certificates you have issued and where are they even present. Now that one knows the security team, the PKI team, call it what you may, once you know what your PKI landscape looks like, then you can think about automation and ultimately have the control, meaning that anything that can throw around in the context today, we are talking about the shorter lifespan. That could be one. It could be anything, a CA distrust, again, that we have seen in the recent past. Anything of similar situation, AppUX will be able to gear you towards making this changes or anything that throws around to be able to navigate that kind of a change seamlessly. But in today's context, we are going to see about automation and how does that help in achieving the shorter lifespan that is upon us. Right. So automation is achieved through what we call workflows in App UX, right? So that's the one word I can use to translate automation in App UX. So then it demands what is a workflow. Workflow is a sequence of tasks that a process is a set of data, right? And it could be repeated one to many times. So therefore, a workflow is just a couple of components running together over a period of time, repeatedly, on demand, scheduled, what have you, and it can produce the desired result. So that is what we call as workflows. And AppUX provides a lot of out-of-the-box workflows, which we usually abbreviate as OOB. So if I'm using the word OOB, please bear with me on that. That is the shorthand of out of the box. And the reason for the workflow, the out of the box, is that there is no one size fits all, because every customer is unique, every business processes are unique, although they may have some underlying commonality, but nonetheless, there is always the aspect of customization. And one thing we want to, even as we are in the initial stage of this discussion, that the workflows can be customized to be tailored into anything that will suit your business needs. So therefore, we always provides this out of the box workflows, which can do certain things just for you, but also it can be customized, or a new workflow can be created altogether. Now we have a catalog of workflows. We have that we provide as an out of box solution. So now I'll go to the demo as well. I'll go to automation, AppUX, and I'll check on the catalog. And we have a lot of workflows that we provide as an out-of-box feature. We also provide a lot of integrations too, so that the moment you have AppUX, you can start leveraging all the capabilities that we provide at hand. So this is what the catalog would look like. We have categorized it into sections where a particular technology or use case is highlighted. Now, coming back to the flow, we'll take a look at one of the examples as updating certificate attributes. That is one of the workflows that we have. Now, I'll just search it out. So here I have my update certificate attribute. So I'm about to run this. Now we'll use this as an example. This is an out-of-box workflow. And what I'm doing is I'm just, as an input, I'm asked to choose a criteria. Now, in order to set the context of this particular option that is available, I'll I'll show it to you what it implies. So I'm choosing a particular certificate group. That means in AppUX, we are able to group certificates. And for the sake of demo, I have created this group, and there are a couple of certificates that are residing therein. Now, what I do is I just choose that particular certificate group, and I choose my server certificates, and all I do is submit. Now, this workflow is running, and we get a sample file to download. Now, let's see that. Now the file has been downloaded. I shall upload it into a spreadsheet program. And I'll also give you an understanding as to what we are doing also, but as we go along. So here are the certificates belonging to that group that I got as an option to download. So what are we doing here? As the name suggests, certificate update, attribute update. So we have the ability to update the attributes that are available to us. Now, where does this help? Now, many a times, whenever a customer brings AppUX into the environment, or even in your PKI landscape, there is always a need to have some sort of an ownership being defined. Who owns this certificate? Now, in order to do that on a bulk level, like if you have over thousands of certificates, doing individually is always it would always be a challenge, a pain, so to say. Now, in a scenario like that, this kind of a workflow would be very handy, as I said a little earlier, that there is a component of visibility, meaning that we can bring all of the certificates that are present or issued by a given CA present in your environment, all of that collected into AppUX. Now, in order to establish ownership, one can use this kind of a workflow. And I can say, let's say I'm putting my cert owner as team A, right? Let's say this is also team A, first three certs, team B, and person A, person X, something like that, team C, team D, and team D. And it could be ownership, could be anything. And let's say if there is an email, I'll put my email here, and I'll put any other dummy emails as well, right? And so now I'm doing is I'm just collecting the information that the for this particular certificate belongs to me. I'm the owner of it, or even if it or whatever team that I belong to, all of that can be collated into a spreadsheet, and this becomes easy rather than taking an approach where it has to be done individually, right? And what I do is I just download it as an Excel again. So now this program, I mean, this sheet has been updated. I go back to my workflow. I upload the file. And now I just hit next. Now I'll let that workflow run. And you can see right now the email column is empty, right? We shall see it would be changing. I'll let this finish. Now you see on the right hand side, all of these emails have begun to populate, right? And also the team details. So owner is my attribute, and I'll just show that attribute. And here you go, right? So now what happens is right from your inventory, one can easily observe that who is the owner of this particular certificate. So as the volume of the certificate increases, right? Here there are a lot many certificates. I'm just choosing here 8, so to say. But let's say if you are having it in thousands, in such a scenario, this becomes sort of a task which will make it very easy for the administrators to have some sort of ownership cost center, right? There are n number of applications that one can think of, right? In my personal experience, I have come across scenarios where cost center required team details, some ownership details. For expiry, there was an ownership detail required because the email has to go to only that person to whom who is owning that certificate, and if its certificate is about to expire. So all of that. So, so therefore, this kind of a workflow really plays a crucial role in even further fine-tuning your certificate metadata, so to say. Now, and this ties up perfectly when we are talking about a shorter lifespan of certificates, because as the certificate lifespans are getting shorter, we are required to know who is owning that certificate. Otherwise, it can be called as rogue, right? And we would be required to have a proper grip on all the certificates, so that we can have a proper auditing or even proper accounting on the matters of ownership, cost center. Let's say, for example, I purposely created a certificate where there are two common names which are similar. So in that sense, one could be a duplicate, or one could have been issued by a person uh, unaware that there is already a certificate present, and all of that, right? So in that way, the scenario just elaborates that the need becomes all the more imminent to have some sort of ownership defined for a given certificate. right? So this is what we have. I'll run once again where I'll change the parameters. Now what I'll do is I'll just make all of this as team X, or rather I'll just run it once again. So any changes that you want to make, that is also something you'll be able to take care of. So therefore, I'm going to run the workflow again. Now you can do it for all certificates, which would be too much here. So therefore, I'm confining it to only a group. Uh, so again, I'm choosing the group demo, choosing my type of certificate, and I'm submitting. So any administrator who has access or the info to make the changes can certainly do so, even if there is a major change required once it has been updated. It can also be taken care of. So let this run once again. Okay, it's done. I'll download the Excel once again. And I'll, maybe this is a new one. So that when I'm updating or uploading that file which I'm about to download, you will be able to see that the same data that we updated would be part of it. All right, I have it now, and I've downloaded it. I'm going to load it. All right, so now whatever was present down there in the inventory has been taken into account, and therefore you are seeing the same details being provided here. Now what I'll do is I'll just change uh, the emails to, let's say, AVX at test.com. Right? And I'll ensure that all of them have the same details. And I'll just put it in AVX. And I'll let it be on all the aspects, right? So now I'm just downloading this file and updating it. Also, you are seeing while this happens that there is an email notification that is going out. So many times the relevant owners needs to be updated, or let's say the one who is running the workflow should be notified in some way, whether this has happened successfully or not. And so therefore, I'll just pull up an email which I have got portraying that the details were successfully updated. So here is a type of email that I'll get. So it tells about the request ID as a point of reference, and the email has been sent out, and I can see whether this status has been successful, right? So all the attributes that I wanted to update have been updated indeed. So that's even notifications can be sent out, can be customized. So yeah, I just wanted to apprise you of that. Now, as you can see on the email and the cert owner on the very right hand side, you are seeing this, all of those changes have taken place. So meaning that any attributes that even I want to further modify, yes, it can be done. Now one might ask that I have a attribute of something that I want to use for myself, right? Like, am I confined only to the attributes that are, let's say, given by default from the product? No, you can even create your own custom attributes. You can have it, get it populated through this particular workflow. So I'll not delve into the creation of custom attributes because it would be just digression. But coming to the or the need for having a need for updating attributes in the context of lifecycle, which is getting shorter. Yes, this is a workflow as a demonstration which can help you to ease any of the administrative, information or tasks that you have, right? So that's that. Next, we will consider the notifications. So I'll go back to my slide. Right? We just saw the updating certificate attributes. We shall now see the automated alerts and notifications. Now, again, just to weave the narrative that we have started with is the shorter lifespan of certificates. Now that you know what volume of or what all the certificates you have, now you've defined the ownerships, you've defined what the right emails are. Now it has to be put to some use, right? And now automated alerts and notifications is one of them, meaning that anytime a certificate is about to expire, right? One needs to be notified well ahead of time. Then otherwise, the having an inventory, having all of these things collated is as good as having it in a Excel sheet. It's not big of a difference. So here you can get timely notifications as per your discretion, whatever you define, and you should be able to get right notifications sent to your inbox. And now that's what we will see next. So I'll go to surplus. All right. So in our surplus module, we have alerts and logs where we can create alerts for expire. Now I have created one for our demo sake, but nonetheless, I'll show it to you first, and we will create all together from scratch. So as you open the prompt, you can just give a name to whatever alerts that you want, and add the alert configuration. That's where the details would be. The one which I've created, I'm just going to show what I've done. Now, the certificate type is an N certificate. You can even use it for your CA certificate, meaning that you're root and intermediate. So that is also a possibility. I'm putting the range as between 1 to 365. I would rather put it, let's say, 1 to 90 days. If any certificate is about to expire during that time, I should be notified. Now, as I'm creating this alert configuration, if I do like this, then all the certificates, if it's in thousands, I'll be notified in one go. Now, uh, the certificates can be grouped in AppUX, meaning that one group, let's say one team has one particular set of group. Therefore, only the certificates belonging into that group should be logically part of the notification, right? Why would I want somebody else's notification part of my inbox? So therefore, we have these filters where I have the ability to choose uh, certificate details. I mean, choose what kind of parameters do I want to consider. In this case, what I've done is I've done group names, right? and I've chosen the group demo, the one which we are considering here, right? So all of the certificates within that group would be participating or would be included as a part of whatever configurations I'm doing. So this becomes first level of filter. What kind of notification am I intending to use? I'm saying email, right? So that's one thing. Now, another thing is I want to bring to your awareness is there is a toggle we have, ignore renewed certificates, meaning that there is a possibility uh, to have alert notification. Let's say there is another alert notification, which is from 0 to 60 days, right? So if the certificate was present in 0 to 90 days, this email would show up. Then if that certificate, again, time goes by, it becomes 60 days, another notification will go on. But in that scenario, if a certificate which was expiring in that 90-day period was acted upon, then a notification for the same expiring certificate would become a false positive, because that certificate, yes, I know that there is an end certificate is expiring, but there is already, it was already renewed upon. So how does that happen? So in AppUX, you have the intelligence to ignore a renewed certificate, which we shall also see what is renewed certificate and all that. So AppUX has the ability to understand that yes, a certificate which was expiring, and if it has been renewed, would not become part of the notification. So that's that. Now I'm putting some static values. Let's say my email address in the tool, right? And I can even bring up the other recipient email details, let's say from email attribute that I have in my certificate that I can use. I can bring up the same thing applies to the CC. I can put static values. I can even bring in certificate attributes to the mix, right? So I can choose certainly that. And the body, right? What kind of details do I want? Like I'm saying, I want my common name, I want my serial number, who is the issuer, and when is it about to expire. So that's what we have. And I just click on update, and I can schedule it. That means I can run it on a particular time zone on a daily basis. That means, let's say at every night, 12 o'clock, it shows up an email that look, your certain certificates are about to expire, and it will notify. And you can start from any time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it on demand, and I'm going to run now. Now we started the whole aspect from the the understanding of automation. Now even these tasks that are happening that we have run can be seen in automation, because here also, like I'll just show it. So here, certificate expiry, this is a workflow that is responsible, and it is created by me. When it was created, when it was updated, what is happening, whether it has succeeded, failed, everything can be accounted for here. That means, let's say if, just to digress a bit, let's say if I'm creating a certificate, right? I come to AppUX, I have the access, come to AppUX, I create a certificate, and off I go. Then how does one know who has done what, who has created that certificate? It could have been cost incurring too. So since there is a workflow associated, created by a certain entity, that would be captured. So in that way, you can even have proper accounting for who is making certain actions. Now, certain, yeah, they are all completed. I'll just check my inbox and I'll show it to you that what the email looks like. So I have got an email, so which is the same, right? So one of my certificate is expiring. The similar body that I had decided, I'll just compare it here. So let us see how does it relate to. And expiry alert, and I have my common name, expiring on, certificate expiring on, the valid until time is being put right here. So again, one can put any information that would like, and there are more parameters that can be considered. I'm keeping it simple here. So in that way, you can even have all those details. Another thing is we kept in CC as the parameter as email. Now in the CC, you can see test.com. Now, if I can, remind you, this is the same email that we had updated in our AVX@test.com, right? So now what is happening is I can use this feature so that the certificate attribute and this thing ties up because my notifications are going out to that particular attribute from which I am using that email, right? So in this way, uh, the life in light of shorter lifespan of certificates, yes, you can even now shoot an email right from the system on a scheduled basis to be reminded that your certificate is about to expire. Who is the owner? Yes, you know all the owners. It has been appended, and so the rightful owner would be notified, right? So now, in this way, the notifications can play a significant role in reminding what is happening. Now I'll create a new one. As I said, and I'll put it from 1 to 30 days, right? And again, I'll choose group for the sake of demo. I'm choosing only that. And I'm choosing my email, right? In the attributes here, I'm now going to put email. That is this one, apux@test.com. And in the recipient, I'll put mine because what will happen is otherwise I'll not be notified because this is just a dummy email. So in the two, so I'll add it here once again. Okay, I'll put my details here again. It's mandatory. So this is done. And I'll run it now. And I'll wait for an email to show up. Just wait. And yeah, just 0 minutes before I've got the email. So in that way, again, I'm able to get the emails that I desire, and I can tweak the body to my liking. So yeah, that is another aspect that I wanted to show you. So created one on demand as well. Coming back to our slides, the next thing we want to consider is the automation on the same aspect of being notified, but by creating an incident. Now, many businesses require for their critical applications that there should be some sort of an auditing, even on the certificates. So therefore, in addition to an email, there is a need for creation of some cases. It could be on ServiceNow, which is what we have seen is that is the most common tool. So we are going in this particular demonstration. We have the ability, by the way, to to integrate out of the box with Jira and ServiceNow on the expiry notifications. So yes, and for the sake of demo, we are going to evaluate the ServiceNow aspect. So now I have another one which was created for the sake of demo, and it is the same thing, right? Like I have the ability to choose what kind of alert this is. I'm saying it is ServiceNow for an easy identification, and I'm going to edit this. Right? So now again, 365 days, I just too big a window, I'll reduce it. Again, who is the for whom this is this alert is being created? I say this is for the group, that is the group demo. So whatever certificates they're in would be participating in it. Now the only difference is from the email toggle, I go to others. In the drop down, I have ServiceNow. Now once the ServiceNow is is integrated, now there is just one small thing that I want to bring to your understanding is in the platform, we have something out of the box integrations also available. And I'll not go into that because it would be a topic in itself. But just want to bring to your awareness because I'm choosing ServiceNow. So therefore we have this, categories, and I will be able to choose ServiceNow provide the authentication URL details, and from therein, I should be able to get my service request or incidents being created. Now, similar thing, I'm doing it here. I have populated that it is my service now. I'm going with very basic configuration. I want to create an incident and with all of these parameters, right? And I say this this was created during the demo, right? And assignment groups, this is all related to ServiceNow. And this is from the XML that I got from ServiceNow for the assignment group, which I'm updating it here. And I'm just putting an update here and I'm running the workflow. Now, again, in order to see what is happening, I can easily go to my automation, check on my workflows, and I can even see from the name itself that yes, there is a service now, and that is an incident workflow. So it's going to be creating that. I let it complete. Fine. There is one that is completed. I'll go to that. And I see there is an incident in my screen. Here, fonts are too small, but I can see that there was an alert, or sorry, an incident that was created. The incident number is right here. So just bear with me. Sorry that I was already grayed out as I increased the font, so I have to go back. And I shall choose the first one, which I did, which was for ServiceNow. I'm just opening it again. And I can figure out what is the incident that was created. Now I go to my ServiceNow. This is the prompt that I have. I'll not go into much of the details of ServiceNow. Just simply skip to the direct incident that was created. So yes, here I can see that my incident has been created. And also the body that I customize, if you can see, this was created during the demo. That's the thing which I had appended. So just to belabor the point that any parameters that you would like to consider the way you want to format it, yes, there is a possibility. The assignment group is AVX admin. And that was the hex as I was showing it to you, which I had borrowed it from here as an XML. The impact, urgency, priority, whatever I had given, sorry, I did not touch base on that. I'll just show it to you that I have the ability to urgency and impact is something that I had provided it here. The same is even being reflected here, right? So in that way, a service incident can be created, right? And in this way, you proper auditing with certificate, with serial number, all of that can be accounted for as a ServiceNow incident. Now, coming back to our slide, the next thing we want to see is the renewal. But before that, we go into that aspect. I also want to say, take the time to say that now you see here the ServiceNow incident was created. Now many enterprise customers, many of customers require some sort of automation where a ticket can be created. Let's say once the action has been performed, that the certificate was renewed, AppUX should have that intelligence that yes, the certificate was renewed. Therefore, go ahead, update that particular incident that was created, uh, and close it also. So now that is what we can do with the workflows, right? That's again tying it up in the bigger picture of automation. Yes, that would be a little bit of customization. So yes, that is also possible with AppUX, and one can definitely tailor according to whatever the needs are. And even you can have the ability to close the ServiceNow incidents that have been created. So yes, that is also a distinct possibility, but that would require a little bit of customization, right? So that is what I wanted to showcase it to you or to bring to your awareness. So yes, that is also very much possible. Now, taking a step back, we now have a shorter validity of certificates. We know who the ownership is, right? Who the owners are, to which team does it belong to. On the top of it, now that I have all those details appended, I can send ServiceNow incidents. I can create to those particular teams to my liking. I can even notify them through an email. So all of that is happening, meaning that as the certificate is coming to its expiry, the people will be notified, right? Incidents can be created. But again, that is not enough, right? Because what if no action has been performed on that? Because there is still a human element present right now, even as we are continuing on this narrative that unless a certificate is not renewed upon, then again it is bound to fail. So with all of this checks and balances that we are putting into picture are going to be of no use. But again, AppUX has your back because AppUX can renew the certificate automatically for you as well. And that's what we shall see right now. So this is one of the snippets of that. I shall show you what I imply by that. And therefore, I'm going to enroll a simple certificate. Let's say you are beginning to use AppUX in your environment, and I choose my group, right? Because I belong to that particular team. In this case, group demo. I choose my certificate authority and all of that. I say demo cert.appux.net and all of that. Now, before that, there is an option to renew automatically or regenerate automatically. So what happens is one can let this toggle on and you can say, I want to let this be renewed before, let's say, 10 days of its expiry. So what does that imply is if no action has been performed, right? Assuming that you are sending the expiry notification on the 60th day, right? And if your business processes require that the administrator should come perform the renewal for you through AppUX, through some automation, fair enough. But again, if that thing is missed, if the human component, since we are using that as an illustration, if nobody acts on it, what AppX will do is when the 10th day comes before its expiry, since I'm putting it here at my discretion here, AppX will say, yes, I am allowed to do this. And therefore, it will go ahead, talk to the certificate authority and procure a new certificate for you. In this case, that would be renewal. And there is something also called as a regenerate, right? So it is either or, you cannot have it both. So as you know, in the note suggests, the difference between a renew and the regenerate is only this, that in regenerate, a new set of CSR and private key would be generated. And in Renew, you are using the existing CSR and the private key. That is the only difference. So again, if many of businesses would require that anytime a new certificate has been renewed or is about to expire, when you're procuring a new one, it should be through a new private key and a new CSR combination. So when you do this, what will happen is, yes, you can again mention the day and whatever the existing CSR parameters are, since because we are doing it from the machine, yes, you would be able to, the same parameters would be applied, but only that the private key is going to be a new one. And in that way, you can get your certificates created. So now what I'll do is I'll just put renew for the sake of illustration and I add it. So the certificates gets created and one can just see from the certificate whether it is deemed for auto renewal or not. And here you can easily see that. And we also have reportings and dashboards where one can easily see in a particular group which certificate is how many certificates are expiring in a month, what are set for auto renewal. If all are set for auto renewal, you are safe, right? So that's that. So that is one thing I wanted to show. That's what auto renewal implies. Now, I also want to take one corner case, so to say, because many times there is a chance that a common name could be present more than once, right? And now let's say there is an auto renewal that takes place, right? In this case, I'm going to do it myself, right? So let's say there is a renewal toggle open, right? Oops, something, right? Or let me just perform the action here itself. Let's say the toggle is on for the sake of argument, and I renew a certificate, right? Oops, something is right. Just bear with me. Just give me a sec. Sorry about that. The workflow was not in enable state, so I shall now it is, and I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to make an attempt now. And I go to that certificate. I click on renew, and it should renew. Now, the illustration that I'm giving is, let's say on this certificate, right, the same CSR private key combination is being used, and a new certificate is being requested, right? Now you see there are three certificates with the same common. Why? Because on one we have acted upon. So now there are three names showing up. Now I go to the other one, right, which is also due for renewal. So what I do is I renew it. And the reason for this corner case is because there is a fair chance with the shorter lifespan of certificates, this would become a sort of a challenge for our administrators. Now, what happens is now you have one common name and there are four certificates. Now, it's very difficult just by looking at it or just by seeing the serial number. It's very hard to correlate as to which certificate is, was renewed for which entity, right? So we do not, it's just hard to see from its face value, right? Whether, the first entity is the new one created for this one or this one, we do not know. So in AppUX, it is fairly simple. Just go to the any certificate and you will see a edge parameter here. What does it mean is it has a history. And in the history tab, all one has to do is click on it and you will be able to see the serial number and the other entity, which is the new certificate. So now if you do it, this is the history for that certificate. So now you have a serial number in common, meaning that the new certificate that you are having is this serial number, the old one is this one, but there is a history associated, implying that these two are correlated with each other. So in that way, it is very easy to account for any type of duplication that might arise, or even in automation, if there happens a scenario that a renewal has taken place where the common name was the same for more than one entity, no worries. In AppUX, certainly you can uh, uh, have this kind of correlation done for you. And in that way, you are totally safe. You know exactly which certificate is in question and what is its renewed entity. Another thing I wanted to belabor is, let's say now there is a certificate which I have even, applied it or pushed it to an end device. In this case, it's an F5 and there is an Apache. Now what I do is, let's say if the certificate goes for renewal, it automatically click on renew. Oops, I think that was. And the certificate goes for renewal. Now let's wait. This is the old certificate on which it is being renewed. Now it has a history also, and we shall see the new one. completed. I go to the new certificate. Now, what do you see here is the connectors are already inherited. What does that mean is if your certificate now in the bigger context of your lifecycle management, a certificate can be applied to many endpoints. Now, it is again a challenge to account for like where exactly is my certificate residing, and when it renews, then again I am responsible to see where exactly it was applied. Now, when it happens, all the connectors, that means wherever the certificate that is the old entity was present, the same thing would be inherited here. If you allow AppUX to say once it is renewed, go ahead and push it, it will even do that for you. So that's one thing as an advantage, that even in shorter lifespan, it would be even becoming more tedious to see where exactly my certificate is residing when it renews. What next, right? Fine, I have taken care of my attributes, I have taken care of my notifications, I even taken care of auto renewal. But again, certificate just sitting in itself is of no use. It has to be applied somewhere. Now in AppUX, you can easily have a proper accounting. Yes, this is where my old certificate was. This is where my new certificate is right now. I come during the CR window, change request window. I go ahead, apply. I even have the possibility to roll back. So it's just from a click of a button, you can leverage all of these features and give and take. If you allow for certain connectors, they say that's fine. For example, Apache might require some, let's say if it's a business critical application, you say, no, I don't want to do it. I only want to push automatically for F5. Certainly you can do that. So when the certificate is renewed, it will be pushed and you'll be better off on that aspect. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I had to share in this time. So thank you very much for giving me a hearing. And if there are any questions, we have some time that I'll be able to take. If not, we can certainly take it over an email.